Honestly, I wish there were more movies like this. Kind of dark and dangerous, funny, bleak, bloody, violent, but also funny. Did I already say that? Funny? Yeah, it's funny.
I would say the best way to describe the movie is that in its bones, it's an action thriller, suspense movie with a very high violent body count. But in its core, it's a satire. I don't want to sound pretentious, but I think our ambition was to do something in the vein of Dr. Strangelove, or in a more contemporary way, Get Out, where we were making some commentary on what the political moment is, but hopefully Trojan horsed inside something vastly entertaining. Yeah, political satire via action thriller comedy.
Well, I think this movie's very relevant. And given the political times we live in right now with the president that we have, a lot of things that are happening in this movie are things that deep down people may have thought of, and suddenly this movie says, really? Okay, well, we're going to do that.
It's one of those things where, for me, as outlandish as it seemed at certain times and kind of like gory at times and kind of far out there, it didn't seem too far-fetched, which kind of scared me a little bit.
I think Damon and Nick did such an amazing job at making sure it was never told in an old-fashioned way or too linear, and they really kind of tease you a little bit. And I think it's good. I think it's good when you're watching a movie to be like, I know what's going to happen next. I have no idea what's going to happen next. And I think those guys are really kind of masters at that, and can take that with the crazy mind of Craig Sobel, and I think you have a recipe for a really, really fun movie.
I like it because it almost pokes fun at any extreme point of view. So you can poke fun of anybody who goes a little too extreme left, a little too extreme right, because usually the answer, the humanity, is somewhere really in the middle. But I also like that the film doesn't take itself so seriously, because otherwise it becomes less fun.
The movie tries not to get too caught up in what their beliefs are, because it's so interested in this idea of identity politics and what we assume about each other, and how those assumptions are very often both dead wrong and dead right, pun intended. Hopefully, when you get to the end of the movie, you realize, wow, if only we could have just sat down and tried to work out our differences in other ways than firing weapons at one another.
I think that there's a trap to fall into with this movie of playing people as caricatures and kind of like winking at Video Village, like this guy, right? Aren't people who are like this so annoying or crazy? And everyone has really played them with such heart and really done the work of putting themselves in that person's shoes.
I think it satisfies the most immediate want out of an audience member, which is entertain me. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to just watch the news, I'll watch the news. And so you do get to go to it, and you do get the thrills, but it's very layered, and it goes a lot deeper than that. And it'll definitely piss a lot of people off, without a doubt. People like to be outraged a lot now, so that will definitely happen. But I think it's good to do that a little bit sometimes. I think, as we kind of just start to, as we get shakier and shakier, you need, I think, pieces of art like this to come in and kind of knock you in your ass a little bit. But it's unlike any movie I've ever seen. I'll say that much. It's bonkers.
I have been training specifically for this role, I trained for like 2 months. I think there's this pressure for ladies especially to train but also slim down, and I definitely did not want to do that. I was looking to look strong and be strong.
I think this movie is a wish fulfillment fantasy for all the people on the far right who can't stand liberals, and also maybe some wish fulfillment for those of us on the far left who can't stand people on the far right, but also wish fulfillment for those of us who consider ourselves more in the middle, where we think people on the far left and the far right are both crazy. And we just want to see people come together, But this movie is not that.
This is funny. You're not going to know what's around the next corner, and that's what I love about this. You have no idea what's going to happen, and just when you think you do, Craig goes, nah,
I think that at the end of the day, our intention was to make a movie that everybody could go see, that they could see themselves reflected in these characters, but also understand that it was a very heightened version of these characters. The movie tries not to take sides, but it's also impossible not to root for the people who are being shot at the entire time. The hunters and the hunted are of specific political affiliations, but we tried not to get overtly political, but at the same time code the movie so that you kind of knew who was who. We hope that liberals will be able to laugh at themselves. As a liberal, I don't like being the butt of the joke, and I actually feel like although my political ideology is vastly different in many ways from conservatives, they have a much better sense of humor about it, which I think is commendable, and the movie tries to reflect that idea as well.